the uses of functional dependency. Then trivial functional dependency, as I told you, trivial functional dependency exists in the form of alpha determine beta. If beta is a subset of alpha, this is known as a trivial functional dependency. So in trivial functional dependency, I explain with the example. If I am saying AB determine A, where A is a subset of AB, or AB determine B, where B is a subset of AB, then it is true. This is a trivial functional dependency. Then closure set of functional dependency, all possible functional dependency for that particular relation or schema which is given are known as a closure of functional dependency. Different rules or formulas we have seen where you can use those to find out the closure of functional dependency. One example we solved, we have seen the procedure or we can say algorithm to find the functional dependency. Then closure of functional dependency, few more rules or formulas we have seen. Then closure of attribute set, same as the functional dependency, you can also find out the closure of attribute set. If alpha is determining something, then you have to add that into your closure set. Then we have seen the example for that, uses of attribute closure, where I told you, you concentrate on the heading uses for the attribute closure. Then extraneous attribute, I explained you, but here when I said this is an extraneous, you need to know how to find out. Basically, till now in exam they have not asked the question from this, but still, if you want to study, you can go in deep with that. So for here, just a extraneous attribute, that day I said, suppose we are having extra. When we say that attribute is an extraneous, when with the same functional dependency, or we are getting the functional dependency which is of no use, or we are having the similar kind of functional dependency in your set, right? So we can say at that particular time that particular attribute is a extraneous attribute which is not making any sense in my functional dependency set. So for example, we have seen in this example A determines C and AB determines C, where I told you B is an extraneous attribute in this. Why? Because if I will remove the B, I will get A determines C, which is already present over there. Or C is determined by A also, which is already there. So there is no need to have B present over here. And if I remove the B, A determines C, which is already there. So it is B is extraneous in this case. Similarly, if we are saying this example, A determines C, AB determines CD. So in this case, I'm saying C is an extraneous attribute. Okay, because right side. One example is taken for left side, one example for right side. So right side C is extraneous. Why? Because that A is already determining C, which is present. So whether I am getting this A determines C or B determines C, I am getting C is determined by A over here. So I'm saying C is extraneous over here. But if you want, if you are not able to do this, you can go ahead for testing. You can check the whether the attribute is really extraneous or not. So for that, you are having we are having different formulas or to test cases. So you can, what you can do to test if attribute A belongs to alpha. See, alpha determine B is my functional dependency. Alpha determine B is my functional dependency. Okay, left side is alpha, right side is beta. Okay, so in this case, I am saying attribute A belongs to alpha, means left side is extraneous in alpha when it is satisfying these conditions. So to check that, what you can do, compute alpha minus A, attribute A which you are saying extraneous. Closure of that. Plus means closure of that using the dependencies, whichever dependencies present in your functional dependency. Okay. After that, check that alpha minus A plus contains whatever result you will get with this attribute, with this closure. Check the result of that. In that result, if beta present, beta means whatever is B here, whatever they are determining. If it does, if beta present, means A is extraneous in alpha. So for that, last time I told you that I have done the solution for that. I'll just share. I required both the things. Is visible? Okay. So now we will see. Suppose this is a given functional dependency set. A determines C and AB determines C in this previous example which we have taken. Right? And here I am saying uh, B is an extraneous attribute. So I have to check whether B is really an extraneous attribute or not. Yes, anyone is having any doubt? Little zoom. I'll try. If I'll zoom it more, then I think I'll check. Okay, because this is I have in my book. I have taken picture of that. Is it okay now? This much is okay, or I'll do this.
Yes, ma'am. Zoomed
Okay,
one was better.
okay. So I'll do one thing. I'll just zoom it more. Yeah. So now here you can see I have taken the same example for your understanding. A determines C, which is present over here, and AB determines C. So I'm saying B is an extraneous attribute. So I have to check for B. So as per this formula, I need to go to the next slide. Okay. Yeah. So as per testing formula, when I want to check for alpha side, any attribute is extraneous. So this first rule or first test case I have to do, right? So for that, alpha here in my case, alpha is AB. So I have mentioned here, alpha is AB. Beta my case is C. So I have mentioned beta as C. So I can put the values in this formula as per alpha and beta format. Okay. And according to this, alpha determine B functional dependency. I got alpha and beta. Now here's the attribute which you want to say extraneous. That is called as A. So from this, my attribute which I am saying extraneous is B. So in my case, A is nothing but B. Just assigning those values. So till here, okay, the assignment of the values. Now next, you have to compute as per this formula. We have to compute alpha minus A closure plus. So what I am doing, alpha. I have written the same thing using whatever the functional dependencies are given. So alpha in my case is AB. So I am writing AB in place of alpha minus A means extraneous attribute in my case is B, which I said. So B, closure of that. AB minus B. Remove the B from this. I am getting A plus. Right? A closure of attribute A. A is determining what? C. So I have to add the C in the set, closure of attribute set, right? Again, A is determining anything? No. Again, from this, A is determining only C. So I will have only C over here, right? So this is my solution for this. Now I have to check as per this, in this closure set, whether beta present. Beta is what in my case? C. So beta means C. C is present over here. It contains beta which is C, right? So it is true that B is an extraneous attribute in this AB determine C. Nobody has asked this solution for you people in your exam till now. Even a extraneous attribute they have not asked, but this will help you in your functional dependency. So at least you should know what is an extraneous attribute or how you can remove it. So this is first part. I am saying something from my alpha side is extraneous. Now something to check at beta side is extraneous. For that the formula or rule is this. Compute alpha plus using only the dependencies whichever present over there using this formula. Okay. So for that we'll do here. To test A belongs to beta, whatever the extraneous attribute, A is my extraneous attribute which is belongs to beta side is extraneous in that B. What I have to do first, given functional dependencies I have taken which are given in the previous slide, that is the same way A determines C, AB determines CD. From this I am saying beta side C is an extraneous attribute because C I am already getting with this. So I am saying no need to have C over here. So I am saying to test C is an extraneous attribute. In this case, alpha is my AB, beta is my CD. So you can see I have written this is alpha. Alpha determines beta. This is beta part. This is alpha part. Okay. So now here I have to compute alpha plus. I have to compute alpha plus using the functional dependencies this f dash, which is equal to, I have written the same formula which is given so that you have to learn. So I have written the formula. In this formula, now what I will do, I will put the values. F is what? Set of all the functional dependency which are given. So these are the given functional dependencies I have written here. Minus alpha determine beta. What is alpha determine beta in my case? AB determines CD. So I have written AB determines CD. Union. So written union over there. Alpha is my AB. So I have written here AB. Determine. So determine what? Beta is my CD minus A is my extraneous attribute. Okay. CD minus. What is extraneous attribute in my case? I am considering C. So I have written C. Fine. So based on this, I will find out. Now from this AB determines CD minus AB determines CD. So I will get this removed. So I will have here A determines C. So I have written here A determines C. Union. From this AB determine. C is removed. CD minus C. Remove the C. I am getting D. Okay. So this what I got. Union of these two, I am getting this, which is the same which I was having. Only I have removed the C, which is not present over here now in this case. After the solution, what I am saying. So based on this, my alpha plus will be all the attributes which are present in this functional dependency, right? So I am having A, I am having C, I am having B, I am having D. Check that second point in this. Check that alpha plus contains extraneous attribute. If it does, A is extraneous in beta. So my extraneous attribute which I have considered is a C. C present in alpha plus. So whatever I have written, it is true. C is an extraneous in my functional dependency because I am getting my functional dependency where I am not finding the C. Correct? In beta side. So this is just a proof for your understanding how to why I have said this as an extraneous attribute in alpha as well as beta. And if you are having any doubt, you can check with the help of these two formulas or these two test cases. Okay. So that was about the extraneous attribute. I hope it is clear. I have not seen this not clearly visible. Shubham, your comment. So is it clear, everyone? The extraneous attribute which just now I explained. Okay, fine. So that is about the extraneous attribute. Basically, this extraneous attribute is useful in this canonical cover. Now, what is a canonical cover? Sets of functional dependency may have redundant dependency that can be inferred from the other. How to find out the other functional dependency or remove some functional dependency that we have already checked. There are few formulas for that. So with the help of that, you can find out the functional dependency which are not required in the functional dependency, right? Or you can add more functional dependency which required. So total set of those functional dependency, that is known as a canonical cover, where you will remove unwanted functional dependency or you can add the more functional dependency which are not present, right? So basically this is important. A canonical cover of F is a minimal set of functional dependency equivalent to F having no redundant dependency or redundant part of dependency. Okay, so for this, I think we will go for one functional dependency. This is just steps to find out the canonical cover. That you can say procedure to find out the canonical cover. So basically, instead of going to this, what we will do, we'll go for example. Okay, computing. So I'll just have a slideshow for this, which will help you to find out the functional dependency. Okay, in this case, see, I am having R is ABC. Using this attribute set, I am having functional dependencies such as AB determine BC, B determine C, A determine B, AB determine C. This is given. This is given, okay? So now, what I will do, I have to check whether all these given functional dependency really required for this functional dependency or not, or whether any attribute is extraneous, whether any functional dependency is redundant. That I have to check to find out my final canonical cover, minimal set of functional dependency, right? So here, what I will do, I am getting A determine BC and A determine B. Here also A is determine B and C. Here also A is determining B. So here in this case, I can combine these two. A determine BC and A determine B. So here, with the help of that, this functional dependency is redundant. A determine B, right? Because already A is determining B here and C. So I will keep this. I will remove this functional dependency. So I mentioned with the proper reason, combine A determine BC and A determine B into A determine BC. So my final set of functional dependency from this, remove this, and I will have A determine BC, which I have written here, B determine C, which I have written here, and here I have functional dependency which was redundant. So I have removed it. Now, in my case, I know that A is an extraneous attribute in this AB determines C. Why? See, if I will remove the A from this functional dependency, I am getting B determines C, which is already present over there, correct? Or A is determining C or B is determining C, which I can also get with the help of this. A determine B or a C or from here and B determine C from here, right? So I'm saying A is extraneous attribute in this. So after removing A extraneous attribute, I will get B determine C, which is already present. So I have to remove this functional dependency completely from this. So I have written here, check if the result of deleting A from AB determine C is implied by the other dependency. Yes. If I am removing A from here, I am getting B determine C. Result C can be determined from B determine C as well as from here A determine C. Correct? So I am removing this functional dependency from this. I will get A determine BC and B determine C. Now again, in this case, I'm saying C is an extraneous attribute. Why? Because A determines C is there, right? If I'm removing C, what I will get? A determine B, correct? And B determines C is already there. So logically implied, A determines C is there by logical implication. If I am removing C, I will get A determine B, then B determine C. Logically, I will get A determine C. So no need to have C over here. C is extra, unwantedly added over here, right? So I have to remove that. Check if A determines C is logically implied by A determine B and any other functional dependency. Yes, if I am removing C from here, so I will get A determine B, B determine C, and then logically I will get A determines C. Transitivity rule, which we have seen. So based on that, okay, I have written here. So using transitivity, we are getting that A determines C. So I am removing C from here. So my final functional dependencies are A determine B and B determine C, which is not further divided or not further reduced. So this is my final functional dependency set. So it is known as my canonical cover. Clear everyone? Any doubt in this?
Ma'am, will you repeat?
Yeah. So here basically the canonical cover, when you have to find out the canonical cover, means you have to find out the minimal set of functional dependency, means you have to find out which functional dependencies are redundant in a given set, or you have to find out extraneous attribute in your set. After removing the extraneous attribute, you have to check whether the same result or same attribute you can determine with the help of some other functional dependency. Then only you can say that attribute is extraneous, right? So for that, one example we have taken, R is our relational schema with the attributes ABC. I am having the functional dependency set which is given over here. This is the functional dependency set which is given. Now, for this functional dependency, I have to find out whether all these functional dependencies are really required or just unnecessary. I have added the extra functional dependencies in this, right? So to check that, we will go one by one. So first I am saying A determine BC. Okay, fine. Then I am having B determine C. Okay, so I will not take this right now. A determine B. A is determining something here, and again A is determining something here. So I can combine those together. If same attribute is determining something, I can combine them. A is determining B, which is also possible with this A determine B, right? So this functional dependency is unnecessarily added over here. So I am removing this functional dependency. So my final set of functional dependency will be A determine BC, B determine C, and AB determine C, which I have written over here, right? After combining this functional dependency with this, right? So I'm getting the final set till here. Everyone clear? Correct? So now in this case, after this, now I have to check in this. Okay, because this functional dependency is now reduced to this. So this is now my final set, functional dependency. So what I am saying here, AB determining C, right? So if I am finding AB determining C, C is also determined with the help of B. B determines C. Again, this C is also determining here with the help of A, right? So in this case, my A is extraneous attribute. After removing A, I am getting B determines C, which is also possible with the help of this B determines C, right? So when I am removing the extraneous attribute A from this, the functional dependency which I am getting B determines C, which is already present. So I have to remove this functional dependency completely. Not only the extraneous attribute, but whatever remaining, I am already having the repeated. So I'm removing this complete functional dependency. See, first initially I'm just removing the extraneous attribute A. So I'm getting B determines C, but it is already there. So no need to keep that also. So my function final set will be A determine BC and B determine C, which is over here. Correct? Now, again in this case, A is determining B and A is determining C when I am dividing it. Correct? So A determine B and B determine C is there. With the help of that, I will get A determine C through the transitive closure. So I am saying this A determine C is C over here is extraneous attribute. Why? Because C is extraneous, because if I am removing this C from this, I will get A determine B. Correct? Okay. I will get B determine C. I am already having B determine C. So using this A determine B and B determine C, I will already get A determine C as a transitive, which is over here, A determine C. So no need to keep C over here as an extraneous attribute. So I'm removing this C from here. So I'm getting A determine B, this one, A determine B and B determine C. Using this, I will get A determine C, which I'm getting if keeping the extraneous attribute, right? So that is also get satisfied, A determine C. So I'm removing C, I'm getting final set as this, which is my final canonical cover or final set of functional dependency after removing the redundant information. Now it is clear. I will give one example for you people so you can try for that. Okay, so I'll continue. That solution I gave you already. We'll see this in for the examples if we get. Okay, next is a lossless joint decomposition. Now what is a lossless joint decomposition? Usually this lossless joint, this is a formula, but with this formula you will not understand anything. Just for exam, if the question is asked what is lossless joint decomposition, write the formula. Suppose we are having R set divided into two relational schema, two part. From that, if you are finding relation R from the schema, you should get this projection of complete R1 for this R, joining projection of complete R2 for this R. Okay, forget about this. For theory part, you have to write this. How to find out this, or what is the lossless joint decomposition? Actually, how you will find out with the functional dependency. For that, you remember this. A decomposition of R, when you are dividing it, decomposing it. R1 and R2 is lossless joint if and only if at least one of the following dependency is present in F plus. Now what? Here you are checking R1 intersection R2 determines R1. R1 means what? You are going to check. R1 means complete R1 set. But for that, you can check primary key of R1 is determined. If it is, then it is true. So how to check this? We will go for this example. With this, you will come to know how we are finding this. Okay. So now you pay attention here. How to find out whether it is a lossless joint decomposition. Using this rule only. Okay. We are using these two rules. R1 intersect R2 should at least give you R1 set or R2 set. Fine. So what we will do here? See, R is given ABC. We are dividing our functional dependency sets are given F as A determine B and B determine C. Okay. Now suppose I am dividing this into two sets R1 and R2. So we are considering R1 as A comma B. I am dividing this R set ABC given, right? So I am dividing this into two parts, two sets. R1 I am taking to attribute AB and R2 I am taking to attribute BC. Clear everyone? So I'm having, this is my decomposition from my side. In exam, they may give you this decomposition and they will ask you, check whether this decomposition is lossless joint decomposition or not. Fine. So to check that, right now I am taking this decomposition. I am saying this lossless joint decomposition. Why? Take intersection as per the formula to check whether decomposition is lossless joint decomposition. We have to check with this formula, right? R1 intersection R2 we have to find. So as per this, I am doing R1 intersection R2. So this is my R1, this is my R2. R1 intersection R2. What I am getting? Attribute B, right? So B I received over here, which is a I'm considering as a primary key over here, present in both. So here, based on that, I'm saying this is my lossless joint decomposition. Still, you should get what is given over here. R1 intersection R2 should give you either R1 or R2. So according to that, my R1 attributes are A comma B, R2 attributes are B comma C, right? So here I am getting B. How I will get B determine something? So now here I am doing, I am already having here B comma C and functional dependencies which are given B determine C. So I am taking B determine C. This solution is directly answered. Okay, I will just write for you people. If I am taking over here B determine C, after that I will do both side I will augment with C. Oh, sorry, B. Okay, so I will get B augmented with B determines B augmented with C, right? So this is what I have written. I have taken the functional dependency which is present over here. So I got so for this functional dependency, I have augmented with B both the side. If you are augmenting, then you have to augment to both the side. So I have augmented it. B into B will be B finally. So it will be B. It will be B and BC. That is BC, which is here, right? So now I am getting B. B is determining B comma C. Okay. So B comma C is nothing but what? At set R2. So which is equal to, I'm getting B which is giving B comma C which is my R2 which is equal to R2, right? So because of that, I am saying this decomposition which I have done is my lossless joint decomposition. Clear? So now Second thing here, I have written something like database dependency preserving. Now, dependency preserving means whatever functional dependencies are present over here are getting through this decomposition. First, I got B determines with the B determines C. What I got B comma C, so that is R2. I'm getting whether I'm getting R1 or this functional dependency or not. Correct. If I'm taking this A comma B, I can say A determine B, which is possible over here. Through this, I can say B determine C, which is possible here. So all the functional dependency I am getting with the help of this division or decomposition. And that is the reason I have written here is dependency preserving. Okay. This part is clear, everyone. Till here, forget about the second part. First decomposition is lossless joint decomposition. If you are getting R1 or R2 after intersecting this, I am getting here R2, BC, which is R2. Correct? Clear, everyone? Shall I explain second part so that it will be more clear? I'll just remove this. Sorry, this is required for your reference. I'm just removing this. Fine. Second, suppose I am dividing this R into, first I have taken AB in one set and BC in another set. Other two, I can take AB and AC. That is also possible. So primary key here, I have taken B. Here primary key, I have taken A. Correct? So now, I have to check decomposition or not. They are saying it is lossless joint decomposition. Why? Always remember, whatever is your primary here in my case, in my composition taken which represents as a, in this is my key. If how schema is giving you the primary key means that is a composition. You can check further if you want. But the final answer, it is a lossless joint decomposition. So now in this case, if I'm taking R1 intersection R2, so that is A, which is coming over here, right? So based on this only, I can say it is joint decomposition. But further, if you want, I am taking A determine A. I'll take this functional dependency now. A determine. I'm taking determine B over here. For this A determine B, what I will do, I will augment it with A at both the side. If I'm augmenting it, A into A will be A only, which I have written here, and A into B will be AB present over. A is determining attributes A and B, which are nothing but my schema R1, right? So if I'm taking A determine B, what I will do, I will augment it with A required that. So I'm getting A determine B. With the help of these, I can get A determine C. Key attribute determining C. But that is not there. I require B determine C, which is not possible anyways from this decomposition, right? So one of the functional dependency is not determined through this decomposition. That is the reason I have mentioned it. It is not dependency preserving, right? I'll just remove this. Right? So that is only this. B determines C. We cannot check without computing the joining on R1 and R2. So that's the reason I'm saying it is not dependency preserving. Okay. So everyone clear with this lossless decomposition? Any doubt? No. Okay.
Clear, ma'am.
Yeah. So we'll move ahead. Almost So dependency preservation means whatever functional dependencies are given to you, whatever functional dependencies are given to you, if after dependent decomposition, if after decomposition your functional dependency what you are getting back, then you can say this decomposition is dependency preserving. For that proper form statement is given, a dependence decomposition is dependency preserving if F1 union F2 all that closure of that is set of functional dependency closure which is given to you. Okay, so that is known as a test it. You just have to find out the go ahead with the checking with what decomposition you have done. Check with that you are getting every functional dependency or not. Whatever, if one you are getting, add it. Same way the functional closure you are getting. So that is okay. That is not more important, but solution is important. That I have explained. In this example, when we are doing this forget about this BCNF because that part we will do when we will do the normalization. And this I have already taken is lossless joint decomposition and dependency for the set AB and BC. For AB and AC, it is not dependency preserving. I have taken. This is about the this again this part I will take when we I will cover the normalization, and this is what we covered in session or a question usually asked to you, the normalization and all. That part cover later on. So till now, whatever function dependency part and design guidelines we are based on that, we will solve some sums. Two sums at least we will do in today's lecture so that you will get idea how to solve the sum. We will go university question only. Usually the questions which are asked for in university exam. All of you just copy this question. Question number 14. This is very important question and usually this question is asked in exam or similar type of questions asked. So just copy the question, then I will go for solution. Write it properly so that you will have your solution ready with you because I am not going to share the solution notes for you people. I want you people to solve where I will solve each and everything in the classroom. So just write the question properly. Below that, we will have a solution. So it will be clear for you people that this is a solution for so and so. Maybe similar type of similar question I will add in your. So solution done, everyone. What is asked in the question? List all functional dependencies satisfied by the relation. Uh, Here itself in this functional question, we will go ahead with the trivial non-functional dependency. Why? Because sometimes in exam they ask you to list all the trivial functional dependencies. So you should know what is a trivial functional dependency, right? So here it says in terms of trivial and non-trivial. Okay. So after this, all of you write down. Now I don't have board, so I have to go with the solution step by step. So here after this only you all write down. Non-trivial functional dependencies are the non-trivial functional dependencies are okay. So non-trivial functional dependencies means normal functional dependency. A determine B, B determine C, A determine C, C determine A, B determine A, and all that. Right? So here, first we will check for A determine B. Now concentrate how to find out this functional dependency exists or not. So it will be A. Right now I don't have option. I will use this. A determine B. We'll check this. A determine. All of you, A determine B. A is having tuple T1, A1. So B is having tuple T1 value is B1. So A1 determines B1. Here, A1 determines B1. What is after dependency? formula for if T1 is T2, that is giving the same value, then same is true for other. So I'm getting with this, T1 is determining B1, T2 is also determining B1. So if these two are same, I'm saying these two, A1 is same as A1, right? B1 is same as B1. If these two are same, these two has to be same. So for exam point of view, that was based on the definition. T1 of tuple A is equal to T2 of A, attribute A. Then if it is true, then T2 of uh, T1 of B is equal to T2 of B, tuple 2 value, right? Same as tuple 1. So now here, to exam how to check, A1 is determining B1. So A1 present in A. Yes, here it present. So this A1 again determining B1, which is true, right? So I am saying it is true. Check for other also. All values you have to check, okay? A2 determines B1. Then I will also have A2 determine B1. True? So both the things are satisfied. So you can say A determine. What we have written, the non-trivial functional dependencies are first one, A determine B, because, write down, because properly give your why you are saying, because A1 determines B1, true for tuple and 2. Also, you can also say also A2 determines B1, true for tuple 3 and 4. Okay, everyone clear how to find out the functional dependency? Now based on this, can you give me any other functional dependency which present or satisfy the relation in this case, in this given table? Check and let me know. Who will give? Do one thing. I will write down. You tell me whether this exists or not. A determine B written. Now we take A determine C. Then we will take B determine. Then we will have determine C. Then we will have C determine A. All possible cases you have to take. C determine B. Right? Yeah. Now tell me about A determine C, whether this exists or not. A determine C. Consider those two columns. Check with tuple wise values.
No, ma'am, they don't.
Correct answer. Krishna, reason? Because what if you are saying no, you have to give the reason.
Because there is no relation. No? Couple A1 and 2 are not being like
We are getting A1 is
they can't be
determining,
related.
correct. A1 is determining C1. And again, A1 is determining C2. So here violation comes. A1 is determining C1. So A1 should determine C1 only. But here what it is determining C2. So that is one reason. Similarly, A2 is determining C1 here and A2 is determining C3, not C1. So you can write the reason because A1 determines C1 and A1 determines C2 in tuple 1 and 2, which is against the functional dependency definition. Same way you can also write for A2 determine 1 minute. So I'll just open it. So clear everyone? Give the reason complete properly. I have not written it second reason also. Okay, who will give me answer for B determine A? B determine A. Present or not? And if yes, what is the reason? If no, what is the reason?
Yes,
Ma'am,
they
because
are.
B1 is in second and first tuple, both B1 is
Determining A1.
determining A1.
So that is true. But in third and
Yes,
fourth,
Ma'am, but for second and third, if we see, then it is not true.
so that only I am saying. I'm asking Prathamesh now. Prathamesh, in first and second it is true. But if
yes, ma'am.
B1 is present in third and fourth also, so you have to check for that also.
Then not, ma'am.
Yeah, so according to that, B1 determines A1 in tuple T1 and T2, but B1 determines A2 in tuple 3 and 4. So you have to write here does not exist because B1 determines A1 in tuple 1 and 2, whereas B1 determines A2 in tuple 3 and 4. This is your final answer for that. If it does not exist, you have to, sorry, here I have exist. You have to write why, what is your answer? Does not exist. Instead of writing like this also, you can also write because A1 determines different values in tuple 1 and 2 as well as uh, what was that? A determines C. A2 determines different values in C in tuple 3 and 4. That way also you can mention your answer. It's up to you, but answer should be complete. Otherwise, you will not get answer marks if justification is not there. Okay, next. B determines C.
Does not exist.
Does not exist. Yeah, Bajrang, why you are saying it does not exist?
Because B1 determines C1 and
Hmm,
in second one B1 determines C2
correct.
and
So you
the
can write
reason for
correct, correct. Answer is correct, and reason also I got. So mention your answer does not exist because give your reason properly. You also because B1 determine different values in C for tuple 1, 2, and 4. In common, you can write the answer because B1 determines B1 from column B determines different values of C in column C, such as C1, C2, and C3 for tuple number 1, 2, and 4. Write your answer in your own words. Next one, C determines A. Anyone? C determines A.
Ma'am does not exist.
Yes, Kushbu, why? What are the reason?
Ma'am, if we consider T1 and T3, then they have same C, but value of A is different.
Correct. So reason will be does not exist because for tuple 1 and 3, C1 determines different values of A. So this is again does not exist. Give the reason, proper reason. Next is C determine B. C determine B.
Exist, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, exist.
Exist. Everyone is saying exist?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. Answer is correct. Because for C1, C1 tuple 1 and 3, C1 determines B1. Similarly, here when we are considering C2, there is no other C2 to match. Then it exists. Definitely. Whatever it gives, it is true. So for tuple 1 and tuple 2, C1 determines B1 in B. So that is correct. So here non-trivial functional dependencies. Functional dependency, or I can say functional dependencies are these. Sorry, these are our non-trivial functional dependencies. We got final answer. You can say okay. That we will check later on. So now this is exist. Now trivial functional dependency we will take. Trivial functional dependencies are, check the trivial functional dependencies. Okay, these table things are very complicated in Word. I got. So based on this table, I'll do one thing. I'll copy this question somewhere else. Okay. Fine. So now we have to go for trivial functional dependency. Okay, trivial functional dependencies are in the form of what? Just now we saw, right? Trivial functional dependencies are in the form AB determining B, where B is the subset of AB, right? Or AB determine A. So first all of you list down those trivial functional dependency which we can get through this functional dependency, right? So first all of we will list down those non-trivial or trivial functional dependency. We can say I will say AB determines A. This is one. I will say AB determines B. This is second. A C. Sorry. AC. Uh, I will go B. BC determines C. BC determines C. AC determines A. AC C. Right? These are possible trivial functional dependencies. For the now for all these we have to check whether this exists or does not exist. Right? So for that I require this table. I'll do one thing. I'll remove these spaces because I require the table. Okay. Now we'll check for AB determine A. Now we have to combine the values of AB. I'm having AB here. I will take A1, B1. Okay. Determines what I have written here. AB determine A. So I will say A1, B1 determines A1. A1, B1 determines A1. A2, B2 determines A2. A2, sorry, A2, B1 determines A2 and A2, B1 again determines A2. So it is true or false? This exists or does not exist? Exists. So reason you can write now by yourself because tuple T1 and T2 AB determines same value for A. Similarly, for tuple 3 and 4, AB determines same value for A. Write your reasons properly. Second answer, AB determine B. AB determine B. Who will give me answer, exist or does not exist?
Exist.
1 minute. AB determine A, we said exist. Yes, yes, correct. Exist. AB determine B also exist? Yes, it exists. BC determine B? BC determine B
Yes, ma'am.
exist. Correct. BC determine C? BC determine C? Exist or does not exist? Check for BC.
Exist. Exist.
Exist. Check for B1 C1 determine C1. Again here B1 C1 determine C1. B1 C2 determine C2. B1 C3 determine C3. So exists because of tuple 1 and 3. Right? Similarly, now next is AC determine A. AC determine A. Check for all values, okay? AC determine A. Exist or does not exist?
Does not exist.
Does not exist.
Does not exist. Why? AC determine A. Okay, we'll check.
Because
A1,
of
C1,
tuple 1 and 3.
1 and 3. Okay, 1 I am having A1 and C1. A1, C1 determines A1. And A2, C1 determines A2. Why? Where is the common factor we are having here?
1 and 2, sorry.
1 and 2. Okay. A1, C1. And this is A1, C2.
Ma'am, A2 C1 determines A2 and A2 C3 determines A2. That can
Doesn't matter. See, right side if common doesn't matter. But left side you have to check. If it is common, then right side has to be common.
okay.
See, all factors out left side are different. A1, C1 determines A1. We don't have A1, C1 again here in this case, right? Then we have A1, C2 determines A1. We don't have A1, C2 again combination. No. A2, C1 determines A2. So we don't have A2, C1 again. We have A2, C3 determines A2. We don't have A2, C3 again. So the functional dependency exists. Because we don't have any factor which to say no. Next, AC determines C. Again the same case. It exists. Correct? Yes or no? Again, we don't have any common factor at left side. If left side is same, then right side has to be same. That is our functional dependency rule. If tuple T1 value is same as tuple T2 in left side, that is A for example, then it has to be same or tuple T1 of B equal to tuple T2 of B. Okay. So this also functional dependency exists. Any doubt in this question? Simple. So these all functional dependencies exist.
Ma'am, is this possible AB dependent C?
AB determines C, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
AB determines C already. No, that is a trivial function. That is a functional dependency, which is not trivial. 1 minute, I'll explain you. Your question is correct, and that way your thinking is good. 1 minute. Yeah, what you said? AB determines C, right? Rahul?
Yes, ma'am.
Now in this case, when we say functional dependency is trivial, when if we are saying AB determine B, alpha determine beta, when beta is a subset of alpha. So whatever beta side is there, that has to be present in alpha side. So here A is present over here, B is present over here, B is present here, subset. C is subset of this, A is subset of this, C is subset of this. These are trivial, correct? But whatever you are saying, AB determines C, that you can check as a non-trivial functional dependency part. Here, I can say here, I'll just copy this. We can check that functional dependency in non-trivial, correct? So I'm getting AB determines C if we are putting AB determines C. So is it possible?
Does not exist.
Does not exist. Why? We will check. A1 B1 C1, A1 B1 C2, A2 B1 C1, A2 B1 C2. So it does not exist. Okay. Any other combination we left? We missed any other combination? There are other combinations.
Determines B.
A,
AC determines B.
AC determines B. Is it
A
possible?
exists.
It is possible?
Yes, ma'am. Exists.
We will check. AC determine B. A1 C1 determines B1. A1 C1 not there. A1 C2 is there. So A2 C1, A2 C1 is not there. A2 C3 is not there. And they are determining whatever value they determine. Left side is different. So it exists. Okay, there is another reason to say AC determine B. You know why? Any other combination we left?
BC determines A.
Yes. BC determine A. For this, I will give you one more reason, okay? I just highlight it. BC determine A. It exists. B1 C1 determine A1. B1 C1 determine A2. So tuple 1 and 2. What you say tuple 1 based on tuple? Yes. Any doubt? No. Aman, correct. Your answer is correct. Yeah. So BC determine A. BC, we are taking B1 C1 determining A1. Okay. So B1 C1 again we have this left side pair where it is determining A2. So does not exist because of tuple 1 and 3. Tuple 1 and 3. Right? So any other combination? That's it. Now here, we have already done with this. From this non-trivial functional dependency, which functional dependency we got exist? A determine B and C determine B. This functional dependency we got exist, right? So what I can do here, A determine B and C determine B. So I can take union of this. What I will get? AC determine B, correct? So that already I am getting over here with this combination or using the formulae. Whatever functional dependencies I got, if I am just keeping these two as my final answer, and if I am doing any functional applying any function, when I am taking the union of these two functional dependencies, I will get AC determine B only, right? Which is means whatever we have done is correct. That is just cross checking the answer. So now after this, write down your final answer. So final functional. So F plus, therefore, you can say I cannot make the therefore notation here. You can make that notation in book. Therefore, F plus is superscript. Therefore, F plus is equal to, you can say, and in that you mention all your functional dependencies which you got. Here you mention all your functional dependencies which you receive. In this, you write A determine B, C determine B, AC determine B. So I'm just highlighting those functional dependencies which exist. These all functional dependencies. Write down all this, your final answer. Okay, yes. Clear everyone? Shall I move up for next question? You can just write down before this trivial functional dependencies. What are trivial functional dependencies? Do you know the formula for trivial functional dependencies? Write down here. After this, you somewhere you add this point. Add the point here. The trivial functional dependency form is alpha determines beta. Next line, write down alpha determines beta. I will show you here. In PPTs, it is there. The trivial functional dependency form is alpha determines beta. Yeah, write down this. If where alpha determine beta, where beta is a subset of alpha. Write down this. The trivial functional dependency form is alpha determine beta, where beta is a subset of alpha. Below that, write down, for example, AB determine A, where B is subset of A comma B. B B is a subset of A comma B. Same way you can write for this also. So you will understand when which functional dependencies are trivial and how to take them to find out whether they exist or not in a given dependency or in a relation. After this, after you mention this part, you have to mention over here. I can say I'll just the trivial functional dependency form is alpha determines beta, where where beta is a subset of alpha. For example, AB determines this, so and so. Write down this. So your answer is complete. If it is a 10 marks question, you will get 10 marks for this solution. No one will reduce the marks in if it is a mathematical solution. Okay, but you have to mention everything in that. Sorry, AB determines A means A is a subset of AB, and here it is B is a subset of A. Correct. Then your trivial functional dependencies you will check, and final answer you will mention in this format. Okay, so we'll go ahead for the next question. Uh, So this is a similar type of question which we have just now did. So I will not solve this right now. I will put this for your assignment. We'll take this next question. Consider the relation, following relation which is given over there. Okay, all of you just copy this question and try to solve this question by your own. Meanwhile, I'll take your attendance and I'll just ask for the answers. One answer I will give you here for this A determine B right now, so that the way to write the answer is clear to you people. Okay, so all of you just write with this A determine B. First check whether A determine B exists or not. A determine B. Can anyone give the answer? It exists or does not exist? A determine B. First one. 10 determines B1, 10 determines B2. 11 determines B4. No 11 further, 12, no further 12, 13, 14. So 10 determines B1 and 10 determines B2.
Oh,
So it does not exist. So write down the answer for that. A does not functionally determine B. A does not functionally determine B because the tuple number 1 and tuple number 2, because the tuple number 1 and tuple number 2 have the same value for A but different B values or different B values. That is, next line, that is, write down tuple number means hashtag which is given over there. Tuple number 1, mention that 10 determines B1. Next line, tuple number 2, 10 determines B2. This is the complete answer for this point number 1. So you will get here 2 marks. 10 marks question, this was asked in exam. So such type of questions they will ask you in exam. Now you continue with rest of the questions. I'll just take your attendance. Copy the question first. All of you copy the questions. Questions are copied. Okay. Solve it. I'll just take your answers at the end. I'll first take your attendance.
No, I'm show the question for a
Okay,
second.
okay.
Yes, Mr.
Okay, everyone copied the questions, so I will minimize it. So roll number 1, 2,
Present, ma'am.
3, 4,
Present, ma'am.
5,
present, ma'am.
6,
Present, ma'am.
8,
Present, ma'am.
9,
Present, ma'am.
10,
Present, ma'am.
11,
Present, ma'am.
12. Utkarsha.
Present, ma'am.
13.
Present, ma'am.
14.
Present, ma'am.
15.
Present, ma'am.
17. 19. Or 18.
Present, ma'am.
20.
Present one.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, Riddhi.
Ma'am, this is Riddhi here.
Last lecture also you were not given. You have not given your attendance. 50. What is your roll
Yes,
number?
ma'am. Ma'am, my roll number is
Yeah, I got
53.
it. So what is the reason for that you were not present
Ma'am,
during
actually
attendance?
the problem is I'm at my native place, and sometimes there is the problem of disconnectivity. So
Because
during
I
the
know
time of
that you were
attendance,
present.
yes, ma'am. Sometimes if when you're taking attendance, that time there's a problem of disconnectivity.
Yeah. See, if you are
So I
having
cannot
any
answer.
problem, at least you should inform me with some other way, like after the lecture, so that I'll
Yes,
mark you
definitely,
present.
ma'am.
Otherwise, I'll mark absent who are not giving their attendance. It is for
Okay,
your
ma'am.
benefit only. Okay.
Yes,
Fine.
ma'am. Thank you so much. I will
Okay.
inform next time.
Good. So we'll go for answers for this question. Who will give me B determines C whether it exists with the reason? B determines C. It exists or does not exist?
Ma'am, does not
Yeah.
exist.
Kushbu, continue with the answers. Tuples?
Ma'am, because tuple B1.
Ma'am, B to C exists.
B to C exist.
Yes, ma'am, exists.
It
Tuple
exists.
1 and 5 have
Yes.
B1 and
Answer is
C.
it exists. Yes. Because which tuple? B1
Tuple 1
determines
and 5.
1 and 5. Correct. And
4 and 6.
correct. 4 and 6 and 1 and 5. So it holds the functional dependency because of tuple 1 and 5 as well as tuple 4 and 6 have the same B and C values. Right? And then you can mention below that tuple 1 is what, 5 is what, 4 is what, and 6 is what. Fine. That is the answer. Correct. Khushbu, it exists. Correct. You got your point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next is C determine B. It exists or does not exist? C determine B.
Does not exist.
Does not
Does
exist.
not exist. Correct. Krishna, go ahead with the answer of because of which tuple?
Because of tuple 1, 3, and 5.
Correct. 1, 3, and 5, and then you can list down the values of those tuples. Correct. Next, B determine A.
Ma'am, does not exist.
Does not exist.
Okay, Anurag, why does not exist? Because of which tuple?
Ma'am, tuple 1 and 5.
1 and 5 and
And 4 and 6.
4 and 6. Correct. Give all the reasons, all the tuples which are violating the functional dependency definition. Next is tuple C determine A. C determine A. Anyone?
Ma'am,
Does not exist.
Yeah. Oh, Swaraj, you go ahead because I want new people.
Ma'am, because C1 C1 is 10.
Give me tuple number. It's okay.
Tuple 1 and 3.
1, 3, and with that.
And 5.
Correct. So
Tuple 1,
add
3 and 5.
1, 3, and 5 as well as tuple 4 and 6 also, right?
4. Yes, ma'am. 4 and
Correct.
6.
So everyone got the answer for this and simple type of question. So in exam, surely such type of question is asked at least maybe for 5 marks or 10 marks. This question was for 5 marks. Previous one which we solved was for 5 marks. So it depends on the paper setter whether to ask for 5 or 10 marks. But surely you will get one of the question like this. Similarly, definition of functional dependency. That was the important point. Or design guidelines. Okay. So we'll stop for today.